What happened to all the good games? Why don't huge studios have the same quality they once did? What's causing the downfall of gaming? I will answer each of these questions to the best of my ability in this video. So first, what happened to all the good games? Why haven't any new good games been released? While there are still good games coming out every now and then, majority of games seem much lower quality opposed to the games that were released years ago. For example, Starfield was extremely hyped as the game was seen as Fallout in space with an endless amount of content. This brought a lot of excitement to the gaming community, with me being one of the people very excited to try it. But upon release, everyone was disappointed to see the game was full of cutscenes where the character would simply watch the story and hardly get to experience it whatsoever, even though the cutscenes were still boring. And on top of that, the game also was seen to be very repetitive, as the game may be huge, but majority of the time you're doing and seeing the same things you've already seen and done over and over. So the glaring issue Starfield and many other games have is that games nowadays seem to be lazy with a lack of detail and variety to gameplay, and uninspired because of, instead of the small details, features, and mechanics and the story being the main focus of the game, the main focus seems to be some game-changing, revolutionary concept like endless worlds to explore that we don't want. We want a polished game, no more, no less. Of course, having a revolutionary concept is great, but if your game is poorly made with bad mechanics or a bad story and obvious cut corners and missing details, no one will care about or be able to enjoy your revolutionary game regardless of how good it is, because they can't enjoy the small details of your game. An example of a good game with a revolutionary concept was Elden Ring. Elden Ring's revolutionary concept was its open world, but it still wasn't its main focus. The main focus was clearly making sure the game was as polished as possible with no lack of detail, and it paid off very well. Every area is unique with different enemies and different parts of the story scattered throughout the area because they didn't skip out on the details and cut corners. Elden Ring, because of this, is known as one of the best and most well-crafted games of all time. Next, why don't studios have the same quality they once did, even with a larger fan base and more funding than they started with? Black Ops 2, for example, was a beloved game by practically anyone and everyone who played it, and had virtually no complaints even though it was released in 2012. However, we look at Modern Warfare 3 Remastered, the game is full of complaints, whether it be the servers being laggy or the hit detection system being below par. The game has an endless list of complaints even though they were seemingly doing everything right over 10 years ago. The answer to what happened to the good games is, the big studios we've grown to love see us as wallets with no brains who will buy whatever game they release regardless of the effort they put in. And most of the time they're right. Another example of this is Pokemon. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has extreme performance issues, complaints of the game being half-baked and seemingly unplayable. But once again, they were making some of my favorite games of all time over 10 years ago. They know they can afford to be lazy because their loving fan base will look past their fault and are going to spend the $70 anyway. Like, I've loved Pokemon for years now, but we all know they have been putting less and less effort in. And then a good game releases for once with a similar premise to Pokemon, and every Pokemon fan trashes it. I can't understand it. Palworld is pure evidence Nintendo doesn't give a shit about their fans. They made a 10 times bigger and better game with a far smaller dev team and much less money. Shout out Palworld for being willing to put in effort to make a quality game even though they didn't expect a tenth of the success they earned. But anyway, I want to refer to Elden Ring again, as this game has plenty of successful titles shared in the Dark Souls franchise, but they still charge $60, and they produced a far bigger and better game with more features, better graphics, and the game is far more polished. But they still charge $60, and they didn't make you pay an extra dime to experience anything you already paid for when you bought the game. Finally, what's causing the downfall of gaming? The downfall of gaming has multiple reasons. The things I just talked about being some, but more so it's really just money. Big studios will try to take it from you because they know that they won your heart already, instead of trying to keep their quality up for you because they truly care. With some studios being exceptions like FromSoft and others I can't think of right now. And small studios do this very successfully too, like Valric. I don't know if that's how you say it. The studio making Quinfall. Quinfall has raised, I believe, over $10 million. I can't remember the exact amount, but I'm very positive it's actually over that. But anyway, they've raised all this money and have made few videos showing off their game after postponing its release time and time again, but the game they've been showing is really just assets that other people have made. They didn't make any of the game they're showing off, and if they're just using those assets as a base, why wouldn't you just finish some areas yourself and show those instead of other people's stuff? One of the areas they show off is literally a $200 pack that is just different assets that aren't even connected, so you wouldn't even be able to walk through it. Anyway, another reason I feel gaming is going downhill is since everyone's favorite games can give them cash prizes like Fortnite mainly, or COD, or any game with money really, people automatically try much harder, but then you add the streaming aspect where you can become famous and rich simply because you're really good at the game and you play much more than a normal person would be. So people are playing like their lives are on the line and leaving their hearts out on the field out here when most people are just trying to have a fun, enjoyable experience. Maybe competitive, but not that competitive. This also ties into skill-based matchmaking, but I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, guys, if you have any other reasons you think gaming is having a downfall, or if you think gaming isn't having a downfall at all, please comment below. If you liked the vid, please like, and if you want to see more vids like this, please sub. Have a good day, guys. Peace.